I'm leaning over here because today I'm going to be talking about how some of us are butterflies and some of us are dragonflies. My son's an entomologist, so this stuff kind of trickles downhill sometimes. A lot of us think about the progress of court reporting and getting through school like it's on a timetable for everybody else. But our timetable seems to be different somehow for a lot of us. And some of that has to do with what do I believe is possible for me? Because when you start shifting those beliefs, what's actually happening starts shifting. It's kind of amazing. But just generally, when I think about butterflies, I think about a little creature that comes, out of an egg, and it's a caterpillar, and it just runs around just voraciously eating everything it can. And I think of that as theory students. you know you're just born into this new world, and you're just learning everything and just eating it all up and trying to get as much as you can, not knowing why. But one day we go from being a voracious caterpillar in theory, and everything starts feeling different, and we start literally shedding our skin, and the whole world feels like it's turned upside down, and you feel like you're kind of hanging there helpless and vulnerable as your insides are totally changed. There's this little protective coating, but not very protective. You feel pretty out there and wondering, what the hell am I doing? And I always wonder from butterflies' perspective, are they like consciously aware that, oh, I what the hell happened? I'm now in this dark environment, can't see my outside world. I'm kind of sitting in my own goo, and I don't know what's next. It's total unknown. But the butterfly just submits to the process and just says, I don't know, maybe it doesn't say anything, but it just allows the timing to happen. And in about, is it 21 days? My son will kill me for not knowing this. All of a sudden, in an instant, the chrysalis starts becoming thinner. You start to be able to see the forming butterfly inside. You can see the colors. You can't see the form exactly, and the butterfly can't really see outside yet either. But in that moment that it is ready, it bursts from the chrysalis, and it still doesn't quite know how to use its wings. Wings? Where the hell did wings come from? I don't look anything like I used to, but I can fly. I feel this urge to pump the butterfly blood, the juices through my wings. I feel the urge to spread my wings, to have them dry in the brilliance of the sun. And in that moment, I lift off, and I am a flying butterfly. For some of us, that's the journey. And it's pretty exciting when it happens. For others of us, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey, because it wasn't like that. The lifespan, the journey of a dragonfly is quite different. It starts off with an egg laid near a form of water. And as the egg hatches, it drops into the water and becomes a larvae. Looks a little bit like a caterpillar, but it's waterborne. And it's deep within usually a very mucky, murky body of water, still and quiet and dark. And there it ekes out the best life it can for an indeterminate period of time. It doesn't voraciously eat, it just tries to survive. It tries to not be taken out by a bigger, hungrier life force. It tries to stay quiet. It tries to stay hidden. It tries to stay safe. It tries to survive. And nobody knows when or why, or if there is a cycle involved, if there's a phase of the moon, a time of the year. But something happens. And for some dragonflies, they're in the water a short period of time. For some dragonflies, they're in the water for a very long period of time. But in a moment, the dragonfly larvae, something occurs to it. Does it become more consciously aware? I don't know. I'd love to think that. Let's write a book. But that larvae climbs out of the water onto some kind of a twig or a branch or something that puts it out into the air where it's never been before. And this blows my mind, in a day, that little larvae is transformed into a dragonfly. It sheds its exoskeleton and it emerges as this magnificent creature, which my son has said so lovingly, Mom, that's not a butterfly. That's a dragonfly. Those are predators. Okay, so be it. They have been hidden and terrified most of their life. And in an instant, they decided somehow everything's going to change. In an instant. Doesn't matter how long they've been in the water, in the muck, in the darkness, in the scariness. They're now sitting perched on something in the air, pumping that life force through their wings also. Very, very different wings. Wings that can hover and go backwards and turn in an instant. And eyes that can see 360 degrees, basically in all directions. Take off to make the best life possible in the short period of time that they have. But they are not butterflies. They have lived through the hell that is trying to become a dragonfly. And nothing is 21 days and you eat until you are full and then you turn upside down and do your 21 days and then you magically become a butterfly, which are wonderful creatures. But the adventure of a dragonfly is very different. It's very different. And when that dragonfly takes to flight for the first time with no sputtering, no hesitation, no doubt about where it's going, I can't help but realize that's a lot of us on our steno journey. I don't know why it takes as long as it does for some of us, but I know there comes that moment, and in that moment, you become a dragonfly. And you head off to make the best world possible for you. And you are an incredible creature. Take it and use it if it works. I love it. I never understood, but I am a dragonfly. And maybe so are you. Take care.